Hello and welcome to another episode of RPA Master Stories. Today we have my friend Michael Lim from IBM. Welcome to the show, Michael. Please introduce yourself and share with the audience what you do for a living.
Hey, Derek. Thanks for having me on your session. Again, my name is Michael Lim. I work for IBM. I am what they call an integration executive. So my role is to look for technologies, specifically in the automation space that we want to acquire, and bring them into the IBM ecosystem of families of products, within our portfolio. And so I did an acquisition over the past 18 months. I did two acquisitions, one in the RPA space, so the robotic process management space, and a second one just about 4 months ago in the process mining space. And there are just two technologies that actually work together to help really manage workload within organizations.
I love it. That's like really the cutting edge of all the technology right now is, keeping an eye out for those things can be a little difficult, but I know that you brought a couple of stories here today for the audience that are going to inspire and change us. So let's jump right into those. What's the first one that we're going to be looking at?
Well, the first one I can share is what we're doing with Deloitte. Deloitte, very large consulting organization. Although we work primarily with the Deloitte organization out of Brazil, and they were looking for better ways to manage, all their project management reporting upwards to their leadership team, and that requires, collecting information about projects and putting them in a PowerPoint or putting them in some form of report that the leadership can see how the projects are working, if there's any issues, just being able to notify that. And that takes a lot of time. And organizations, I myself, when I was a project manager, I spent hours and hours to just put these reports up. But and these could take up to days too. But like for them, a couple of their projects, they were very, very large. Just to prepare a report that they want to share to their leadership could take 5 to 8 days because it's collecting information from different systems and getting facts and all these different data points about each of the different projects. And using RPA technology, they were able to pull up these reports in hours. I mean, that's pretty impressive that now you've taken up 5 to 8 days of workload and compressed it into an hours. And what we're able to do is to create these robots. What the robots would do is they learn how people were preparing these different types of reports. And then it recorded exactly all the actions that they took, all the different tasks that they did. And not everything is going to be done by a robot, but most of the mundane repetitive ones were the ones that they were able to automate. And so now you've recorded, hey, what systems do I pull this information out? Maybe it's my billing system or it's from my, project tracking system. Gather that data, build a report either in PowerPoint or Word document, and then make it available, right? And a lot of that stuff, interesting enough, is really just repetitive work, and that's where robots were used. So that's one area that we helped Deloitte. The other areas was expense. I mean, my goodness, I hate it when I travel and I have to go and fill in expense reports. I got to find every single little receipt, and I got to go out and remember exactly which hotel I stayed at or the dates. And a lot of that information is actually in the receipts. So what we did with our technology was we put all the receipts in one bucket, and the robots would actually then scan using OCR technology to extract pertinent information like the dates, what was the room cost, what was the tax cost, if it was airfare, what was the airline, all those things, and it helped generate those expense reports for them. And that took me, when I used to do it, it took me 3 hours a day to go and do an expense report. But now, because you have this technology, you're able to do it in 10 minutes. So it was just really providing operational efficiency in managing their management consulting practice.
That's fantastic. And I got to say, so the initial business challenges were the manual, tedious efforts in between to upload accurate data into the repository and get a process for backend systems analysis and processing and payments, of course. So when looking for options, what was it about the IBM technology and what technology did you use that stood out to them that became the precedent for taking these next steps forward with RPA?
I mean, there are a couple of them. One of them is when I went to look for a technology, I always felt the future was SaaS, and SaaS is important. And most vendors in the space, they were really on-prem technology that they provide as a managed service in the cloud, but it wasn't born in the cloud. And so that was one of the real reasons why I acquired this company out of Brazil, because they were born in the cloud, and companies, they don't want to have infrastructure for managing bots. They want to have it as a service to them. And I think that was something that Deloitte really liked, that I don't have to go and set up all this infrastructure to go and run bots. I can have it managed in the cloud. and provide it as a service to the customer. So that was really, really important. The second one was cost. And today, a lot of the RPA vendors, when they sell per bot installs. So if I have, I don't know, 1,000 employees that work on my team, I would have to go and buy license for all 1,000 installs that we need to go and do. And that just was very expensive for organizations, especially that, the value of mundane tasks is not very high. So it's really hard to justify the spend. And for us, we do things by concurrency. So we don't charge per install, we charge per concurrent use, which now enables companies that are larger in organization to take advantage of these automation technologies without having to go and have idle bots that aren't being utilized. And sometimes, in some cases, they're only being used 10% of the time, so it doesn't make sense in the cost. And so I think those are two big drivers of why they liked our technology, because most RPA vendors do the same thing, right? But it's more about what is going to be aligned to my business ops cost and how do I manage it effectively, and how fast and easy is it to use, and is there any infrastructure costs, because they didn't want any infrastructure costs. And those were probably the three
Yeah,
drivers.
absolutely. And avoiding the idle bot process, that could really rack up against your brain if you're looking at the investment side of some of these tedious tasks. But for the audience, remember, we're also looking to free up these users of these technologies so that they're focused on more revenue generating activities. They're not people replacement tools; they're people enhancement tools. And so the flexible licensing option provided here in this example gets that done much faster and easier. And I could see that too, how that could work in the background. So you got to share with us here. What did we learn during the installs, and what would you recommend to the audience if they wanted to go take action on a couple things like this?
Well, again, there's a lot of different technologies. I mean, for us at IBM, we have a trial where we're planning to do a community edition that's going to come out next year, and it's going to really enable people to use the RPA software and not pay for it unless it's actually driving value to the business. So, which means there's going to be no cost to get education, playing with it, utilizing it. And it's nice when you're getting it from a company like IBM, right? So we certify all of our products and we make sure that it's enterprise grade, but you're getting enterprise grade software available for kind of the common people like you and I to use in our personal lives, right? And when it starts to drive value, that's when we charge, which is really nice. So we want to go and partner with a bunch of universities to actually go and leverage our technologies and make it part of their educational programs. But we try to make it easy. Today, there's a trial. So you go to our website, you can register for a trial. Right now, our trial is like it's like a hosted managed service. So you can go in and you don't have to install anything. What we do is we give you a virtual desktop, and it's got a bot there, and you can start interacting with the bot, creating bots, and we give you a whole bunch of exercises and that you can actually do to get familiar with the technology.
That's awesome. You're putting RPA in the hands of the everyday man, and that's really exciting to hear. So, I got to say, for Deloitte and moving forward, what's next for them and what's next for you? What other type of projects are you looking at inspiring through the automation gains you've made so far?
Well, again, I mean, we're trying to go make sure that it's available for all of our customers. I mean, we've got, if I think about our automation customers, we probably have 18 to 20,000 customers around the world that uses our technology to solve automation problems, not just RPA task problems, but we do things like enterprise workflow solutions. If you think about like companies like PayPal that uses our decision engine to make decisions on if a transaction was a fraud. Like these are software that solves automation problems, not just the mundane ones, but the critical ones that ensure that operations are sustaining. And what we want to do in our next step is not so much, I wouldn't say it's so much about a specific customer, but it's make it available for the common person to use, drive value in automation, but no automation, like RP itself is not going to solve the automation problem. It might solve the simplistic tasks or some of the tasks that are there, but you really need to tie into like what are the bots doing and how does it build value in the overall business, and that's where we want to go into. So I wouldn't say that we bought an RPA vendor or a process mining vendor technology just to go and compete in that space. We bought it because we wanted technology that was going to enable people to go and do automation at a low cost, but also have enterprise grade software. So as they're maturing from a small company to an enterprise company, they're going to have a platform they can mature into.
That's awesome. And growing with your company, understanding the flexible needs that you have, as technology is evolving around this space, it's getting easier and easier to get these things started. When it used to be such a barrier, maybe to an investment or understanding, is now being made in virtual machines online. So for the audience, if the audience wants to get involved with your technology, how could they take action? What website would they go to? Tell us and fill us in on that process.
Yes, so I would just go to our IBM.com website, and maybe I can provide you some links so that you can share with your audience. But you would go in and you would just sign up for a free trial, and we have a free trial until we get our community edition out, which we're really targeting for the first half of next year. But it's a great way that you can start interacting, getting familiar with the technology. If you're a company and you're really interested to go and leverage RPA, and you want to get a little bit more deeper on specific processes that you want to go and improve in automation, not just RPA but automation in general, you can reach out to, once you fill out one of the forms, the what we call these kind of forms that you're trying the trial, you can, in the notes, you can say, I'm interested in RPA or automation to actually go do for my business. And then we can have someone from our digital team to reach out and see how we can engage you with maybe one of our garages, which are pretty free. They're like discovery workshops that we can go and understand a little bit more about your business and figure out what is the right automation technology. Because people have this misconception it's RPA, but RPA doesn't equal automation. It's a capability in automation, but it's really looking at it holistically and how it's going to solve the problem.
That's amazing, and that's best practices right there, folks. It doesn't get any better. So, my friend Michael, what is next for you? What have you got your eye on right now that's really piquing your interest coming around the corner into a new year here?
Well, we're doubling down in SaaS, and that's why we bought a SaaS-based RPA vendor, because we think that that is the new delivery model for automation software, and we're seeing a lot of our competitors going into that area. So we're really doubling down on making our SaaS platform not only just available for RPA, but we want to look at all of our technology and make it available at an affordable cost for small to mid-sized businesses that they can use it, and they're paying for value that they drive, not by software install. That's like one of the big missions that we're doing. The second, again, if you've ever heard of Watson, we have probably the largest AI engine in the world, and we are making that embedded inside of our technology. And we look at AI in kind of three different fashions. We look at it to understand what work people are doing, right? So, what information do I need to do? Like, what's the context? We also use it to learn, and that's how we're creating bots. So, if you want to create a bot, we actually have a recorder that watches what people do and actually create the bots for you, and then recommend automations, because as I told you, RPA alone doesn't equal automation. It's actually a collection of capabilities in automation that's going to give you to the fastest outcome. So it's going to give you recommendations. So where we think that that is really kind of an area that we want to go and drive for our customers. And who knows, we have self-driving cars, we might want to have self-driving automations, and that's maybe where we want to think about going.
I am so excited. As we come around the corner, I just want to say, hey, thanks for jumping on the show again, Michael, my friend. Wonderful stories that you shared with us today, and we're hoping that the audience is inspired and looking forward to their next journeys, and we'll be playing with your technology here soon enough.
Hope so. That'd be great.
All right, and for the audience, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe for RPA Master. Share with your friends. I've been your host, Derek Gerber. We'll talk to you soon on the next episode. Thanks again.